Now, I've gathered a lot of wisdom over the years, and I'd like to share my wisdom with other people and hope that they can avoid some of the mistakes I've made and avoid some of the pitfalls that I've fallen into, and maybe they could lead a little more comforting life than I've led. Not that my life has not had its rewards, it certainly has, but I've made some mistakes along the way, and I certainly like to help those people who would want a stable marriage, that maybe I can shed some insight into what works and more frequently what does not work at a marriage. Whenever a marriage breaks up, they always think that it's like television shows where it's something really superficial or something dirty or something. But it's marriages can break up for a lot of reasons, and one of the things I think I would have done differently, and should I ever be married again, I think one thing I would do, I would underutilize Porcine Metaphor, because most women don't like to be compared to pigs, even when you do it in a complimentary way. If you grow up anywhere near livestock, you know that the hog is a maligned animal, that we say all sorts of things about the hog that are not necessarily true, that they're dirty animals. Well, they're not dirty. They're not dirty, and that was something I tried to bring to my marriage, is that insight that pigs have gotten a bad rap over the years for various reasons, and that to compare a person to a pig really isn't such a bad thing. The pig can be a quite noble animal, and it can be a very resourceful animal, and an animal worthy of our respect. And I try to enlighten my wife on that, and when I can reflect on it later, what I have to conclude is maybe that wasn't the best forum for doing for trying to elevate the status of the pig. And for example, I tried to pay my wife a compliment by calling her a pig brain, see? And I meant that in a complimentary kind of way, because pigs are actually very smart animals, see? So call someone a pig brain is actually a compliment. And my wife didn't see it that way. She'd say flat out, "Don't call me a pig brain." And I said, well, actually, pigs are very smart animals. And I'd start talking about the problem-solving skills that pigs have, and she'd cut me off. She cut me off. She didn't want to hear it. And at the time, I thought that she was the intolerant one. I did. That she was the one who was unwilling to work on the marriage, and was unwilling to have her consciousness elevated. But as with the passage of time, I take ownership of my mistake. I take ownership. And I know I used to sometimes say, we go out to eat, and then my wife hear me talk on the phone, I'd say, "We ate like pigs." And then I'd hear her in the background saying, I didn't, I ate like a lady." And I tried to emphasize to my wife later, after I told her, well, we ate like pigs, is that wild pigs don't overeat. They don't. That's something of a misrepresentation of the species, that they overeat. In captivity they do. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. They're given hormones. Sometimes they eat out of boredom because they're locked into a small pen. They're given foods that will increase their appetite. They play various tricks on them to make them eat more. They give them different diets that do not necessarily make them feel sated and make them want to eat more, so they put on more meat. But wild pigs, they're not like that. They eat a little bit and then they move on and they eat a little more later. They're more of a trendy dieter kind of animal. And I try to emphasize that to my wife. And, you know, she wasn't always as understanding as she could be, but then again, you know, you can't fight every battle, and it probably would have been best to just let it go. And I guess that I should have let that go early on, and I shouldn't have hammered it home and tried to make my point about the you're actually paying a compliment when you compare someone to a pig. I should have realized that not everyone would understand it. But I guess the biggest mistake is when I compared her physical characteristics to that of a pig, and you know, I did that with good intentions, because the point I tried to make to her, unsuccessfully of course, it was that there are a lot of animal nicknames that we have for women that are not necessarily complimentary when you stop to think about it. I mean, do you think men really want to be with a fox? Think about it. In the literal sense of the term, I don't think so. And when I mention the other animals that are sometimes brought up, I thought the pig favored comparably to these other animals. And that was, I think, that's probably the beginning of the end of my marriage. But in summary, I'd say learn more than one joke. That's one thing. Always have more than one joke. Don't tell your wife the same joke every day, no matter how funny you might think it is. And learn a second story, like from work. You know, have more than one story about work. And thirdly, and probably most important, go easy on the porcine metaphor.